1 in 3 Americans are either pre-diabetic or diabetic. 1 in 4 Americans suffer from heart disease, and heart disease is the #1 killer of people in America.
Coach JC White,
high performance coach and founder of T3 Body.
We look at your blood work and DNA, look at your biomechanics and what's called your biofeedback. Typically what we find when we're looking at these blood work panels is that high levels of cholesterol, low testosterone, and insulin resistance.
who do you work with usually?
Anybody who has a desire to be great, truly. And I want to make one thing clear too. I was the first one in this space, bro, to start doing blood work and all that kind of stuff. Now you had a lot of copycats years later starting to do all this stuff. If I feel like you're not ready to win, I don't even want that energy around me. I believe I'm the greatest of all time. So I walk and I act and I live that way.
Your best advice?
Decide who you want to become and then become them ruthlessly.
Kicking ass, taking names, and today we are here with Coach JC White. JC, thank you for being here, first off.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me.
So yeah, we got connected through some people that we know mutually. And I know that your results, obviously, if anybody wants to know what this guy does, clearly he does fitness. We're going to talk about fitness today. And if that's what you guys are interested in, you'll definitely want to stay through it because we're talking about hormones, hormone optimization, a bunch of stuff. So I know that you've been rapidly building a lot and just doing a lot of things. Like you had one reel that did pretty well, like talking about work-life balance of health. I know that people are going through a lot right now. Can you tell me a little bit, first off, why you're passionate about health? What got you to get to the results that you've gotten clearly? 2 is just about your story, man.
Yeah. I'll try to consolidate this as much as I possibly can. But I originally got into the industry almost 2 decades ago. And when I was growing up, I didn't really like weightlifting that much. I was super weak, probably the weakest person at my school, actually, at the time. I was an athlete, basketball player, but, back then the knowledge was basketball players don't actually have to lift that much. It wasn't until I actually got done playing basketball that I found my way into the weight room, and then I fell in love with it. And the reason being, it really taught me about work ethic and then how to be intentional with things, how to actually make a plan, and then how to see results with that. Because when you do this to a scientific degree and you're super calculated, I believe that those skill sets can be transferred over to other areas of your life, which brought me tremendous success in business too as well, scaling my team. I mean, we're a company of 30 people thus far and continually growing. We served over thousands of clients. So that's kind of a little bit of how I got into it. And what a lot of guys face today is just a few different things when it comes to their blood chemistry and what's going on a hormonal level that's affecting how they feel, their energy, their drive, their performance from day to day, especially for these high-performing elite men.
And so I guess what would be the reason that you decided to focus on this specific aspect? And what is the specific aspect of health that you work on differently? Because there's a lot of coaches out there, but
Sure.
you said you were not the strongest guy, and you're also how old right now?
36.
Yeah, I see. I thought you were 29 or something like that,
Appreciate
So that's working. The size and the mass that you put on is working for sure. I mean, so you didn't grow up you weren't pretty big growing
very
up.
Skinny. Yeah.
Really skinny. So for those guys that are looking to get big as well, right? I mean, that's the results definitely have shown, and you've been working with clients. So can you tell me more about that? What specifically is your target when you work with somebody, and how do you diagnose that? How they're going to start?
Yeah, great question. So at T3 Body, we look at a few different metrics. We look at your blood work and DNA. We look at your biomechanics and what's called your biofeedback. From there, we can understand exactly what your body needs nutritionally, supplementation, lifestyle, and training. So think of blood work like a KPI. It's letting us know a real-time snapshot of what's going on with your body. Your testosterone, your cortisol, which is a stress hormone in your body, all your comprehensive metabolic panels, vitamins and minerals. That way we can see what you're deficient in. And when we understand what you're deficient in, then we can literally put specific foods in your diet, take out specific foods, add in supplementation, all those things there on what your body needs. Biomechanics, that's an assessment where you look at your mobility, flexibility, range of motion, all those things so we can construct workouts. A lot of times people do programs, work with coaches. There's no way it's actually customized because they're not actually studying the person's individual body. So we get to know you inside out, your DNA, your blood work, your biomechanics, your lifestyle, so then we can customize and create a plan. And it's all medically supervised. I literally have PhDs, doctors, functional nutritionists, all this on staff that overlook this stuff. I'm just the CEO of the company.
You started as a personal trainer. You've been doing this for 20 years. Can you tell me more about that journey?
Yeah, man, it was actually quite interesting. So I turned pro in the WBFF at the age of 22, which made me the second person to do so in history.
The WBFF.
Yeah, WBFF, World Bodybuilding Fitness Federation.
Yeah, I was going to say bodybuilding. Okay.
What it was called at the time. And shortly after that, I moved out to Los Angeles. I slept on the floor where I was building up my personal training business. I worked with a lot of celebrities, executives, entertainers, and everything like that time period. I got into powerlifting at that point, and I won every single powerlifting competition that I could do, set 5 different powerlifting records. And then I got into the magazine world too as well, and I've been featured on Men's Fitness twice. So I've done quite a bit, and all the ways in which I got there was very analytical, very scientific, and I took a lot of that information and I started just to help out my clients with that because I was doing my blood work and I was running my clients' blood work and I was seeing like what was the gaps, and the same thing with their training. So there's a very scientific approach to this shit. Excuse my French, and people just typically go about it, throw shit against the wall and hoping something sticks. That to me seemed like a waste of time and it was less efficient. So I was able to circumvent that whole process of training, nutrition, and optimization by just looking at the data and making smart strategic decisions from there.
First off, like, what are you putting up, dude? Like, that's first question. Let's just get that one out of the way.
On which lift?
Let's say all your like bench, squat, deadlift.
Yeah, so bench press, the most I ever did was 545, and that's with a pause.
Yeah.
It was pretty easy. I actually purchased 180 and 200-pound dumbbells from my gym.
Yeah.
The 200-pound dumbbells, the most I did was 14 reps with 200 pounds.
Does anybody touch those? Like,
no, just me.
Yeah.
Just me. But it was it's kind of a flex to buy that for your gym to also be the only one repping it. And then squat, the most I've done was 700 for like a double. Deadlift 705 on a stiff bar, not a deadlift bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go into, first off, like performance. There's training, right? There's levels. There's training. There's like athleticism. Then there's like elite performance. You're like at this point of elite performance. What does that look like from a training perspective of prep? Because you're prepping your body to get to that point. People might want to say, like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I already work out. How do I get to elite? Like, because there's people who do regular training. We can talk about that. But then there's also like that elite level, which I think, honestly, you probably trained people to be a little bit
for
on
sure.
That. So that's really interesting. I'm curious to hear that from my angle, and then we can go into the basics.
Yeah, there's two different ways I'm interpreting this question. Are we talking about from perspective of like helping out others, or are you becoming an elite?
I mean, I want to get to that level, dude. Like,
yeah, like no bullshit. As cliche as it sounds, it starts in the mind. Like you have to believe you're elite before you're elite. I mean, it takes maybe a certain amount of delusion, right? That needs to be in there in order for you to actually be able to achieve it. A lot of people don't believe they're great, thus they'll never be great. Humbly in my side of myself, I believe I'm the greatest of all time. So I walk and I act and I live that way.
That's a hat. Yeah,
it's not just I wear it because I believe it, right? So like I think you actually have to believe that. So everything that you do when it comes to your preparation, when it comes to your actual training, when it comes to your nutrition, how you treat, how you show up, all those things, you will treat it as it is every single inch fucking matters, because it does. So it literally starts in the mind, and then everything else, like that sets the standard. So if the mind is right and you believe that you are great, then you will achieve greatness. But a lot of people don't truly believe that they're great. And it's not an arrogance thing. It's just like you got to believe that you deserve it. And you got to believe that if you put in the work, it will be yours.
I didn't notice that. So when I was looking through kind of like your program, a lot of your modules, like, and a lot of the things that you say are literally like manifestation, meditation. Can you speak about that?
Yeah. That's probably a little bit of the secret sauce. And what we do. Yeah. We're really big on analytics and the data, and that's what the team that I surround our clients with. But what we give them once they actually come in there is a lot of that mindset, is a lot of that being super intentional. We have an exercise that we actually have clients go through where we call it creating a masterpiece of a life, where we have them specifically say with critical detail what they want when it comes to every single area of their life: business, finance, fitness, mental, spiritual, and of course their fitness. The reason being is people usually think of success as something that's compartmentalized. In order to be successful in business, you got to give up your health. In order to, if you want to have a six pack and be ripped and be jacked, you can't got money. Well, your boys got money too. So like you can have all of them, right? But it's just, you have to really clearly define those things. So then that just sets not only the standards, but the expectations. And then from there, all of everything you do, you know what your direction is. You're super intentional. There's a fantastic book by Napoleon Hill called Outwitting the Devil. And he talks about drifting. A lot of people live their lives drifting. They're not intentional. They don't know what they want. So therefore they just go with the wind. But when you know what you're going after and you set clear, measurable, objectable goals in each area of your life, you know what to say no to, and you know what to say yes to. But you got to be like super, super hard once you create those goals, because everything else is just noise and it needs to get the fuck out the way.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that a lot of the stuff that we brought up earlier, right? So the hormones, men's, do you focus mainly on coaching men? Do you have a specific like niche? Are you doing like executive men, or do you work with, because I know you work with like executives as well. I mean, who do you work with usually?
Anybody who has a desire to be great, truly. Now, that comes with a price tag too, right? Our experience as a team collectively, the amount of degrees, certification, and expertise that we have on staff, that's going to come at a cost. So it's not like something where, I would love that we can help everybody, but realistically we can't because of the price point on which we charge. So typically we work with men who are above the age of 35 till about 70. The oldest client we ever worked with was 74. And they're usually entrepreneurs, business owners, executives. And the reason why is it just comes down to alignment. They are consistently about progression. They consistently want to level up their game. And when they get better, so does everybody else. It's like the rising tide raises all boats, right? They're the tide. So those are people who are consistently with a progression mindset, which just finds alignment with what we do. Because me as the CEO of this company, our team has that ingrained in them. We don't recruit guys who just rest on their laurels. We recruit guys who want to be the best version of themselves consistently day in and day out. So therefore, when we're helping out their clients, we have alignment with that. And so unfortunately, sometimes when you're helping out people who don't have that type of mindset, they're just not going to get it. They're not going to get the demand for greatness. They're not going to get for the way that you push yourself day in and day out. They're not going to get the raises and levels of expectations because it's just, they're not used to living their life that way.
And when you started this, I'm curious as to how the business side has changed for you, because the industry of coaching, fitness, everything about fitness in the last 10 years and 15 years is completely transformed. And actually you have a unique perspective because you started 20 years ago, but Instagram and everything was coming up 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And you could build it in so many different ways. How have you seen that like change in the industry from the industry perspective?
Yeah, I think people are definitely way more receptive and open to the idea of, even if we talk about the training aspect of things, they're more receptive to getting help online than they were 5 years ago and definitely 10 years ago.
Yeah.
People used to always think that like in order to, do fitness, you need like a trainer in the gym. While that has some utility, besides just maybe showing you the basic, fundamentals of how to execute some movements, it doesn't really get the job done. A lot of trainers don't actually help you with nutrition. None of them know anything about blood work or any of that kind of stuff. So it's really it's not focusing on the stuff that actually moves the needle. Because you can work out to the cows come home, but if your if your nutrition and lifestyle aren't right, you'll never see the results. Yeah. Training only stimulates the change. Nutrition and lifestyle is what creates it. But I mean, it has wildly changed because I think there's just a new wave of consciousness when it comes to health optimization.
Yeah,
you see a lot of elite billionaires and stuff like that doing that now. I mean, people seeing Jeff Bezos' transformation, Dana White's transformation, all those things are definitely more mainstream now.
Yeah.
So that just raises like a consciousness. My dad, his generation, he was born in 1953. I mean, those guys would just get off work and just smoke cigarettes and drink, and eat shitty foods all day. Yeah. So there wasn't really that understanding of it. But now we see guys who are, who born in like the late 60s, 70s. They really take their health serious. And I think it's going to only continue to progress because that is a true pillar of wealth. It's not just about money. It's not just about family. Like you in order to actually live out and experience those things, you got to maintain your health. It's not just about how long you live. It's the quality of those years.
The future for AI and like using AI in health. Because I know every pod, somebody has to bring up AI in every pod nowadays, right? Like I just want to know the point from where your perspective is on using it, health.
Love it. I'm already invested heavily in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. For specific, I don't want to give away too much of that because I think that's going to give us an unfair advantage in the marketplace. But we're using it both for client. We're already using it for some of our team stuff that we got to do. It makes our work so much more efficient, so much faster, and the rate of we get better as a company. We're using it there. because you can customize AI in order to fit the needs of what you want, exactly what you're looking for. On the front facing side of things, we got a lot of stuff they're going to be rolling out next year. That's going to be sick.
What's like their health perspective though? Because like you said, you focus a lot on blood work, which we haven't brought up yet. And I want to go into that. But let's say like, do you plug in blood work to AI, or do you just create customer like a profile for them, or like, do you ever use it? Like you ask questions to it? Because I've been using it for like cleanses. Like I'll say like, I'm doing this cleanse. It'll be like, don't eat grapefruit. Have, like drink a liter of water, make sure you space out, don't have activated charcoal at the same time as you have a supplement, because it'll cancel that out. So, is that something you guys have been doing, or like, do you ever use it for like those kind of perspective, like that way?
No, the reason being because AI misses context.
Yeah.
What we do is like when our doctors analyze people's blood work, they have the full context.
Right.
They have their lifestyle, they have their health history, they have medications.
Oh yeah, and you also have
goals.
doctors on your team. Yeah. So.
They have their goals. So like if you miss all those things, it's going to give you very generalized information on what to actually do and how to implement that blood work. Because you're on a specific medication, but then it's telling you to take berberine, but you're on metformin. Well, you're fucked, right?
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point, because I have doctors as well that I work with, and they actually bring that up, and they say that about not just AI, but they say that about biohackers online, because they're telling people you should take this, but they're like,
Bro, that is real quick. That has been my biggest issue with like. Because like me and my CMO, like it's hard for me to create content sometimes when I talk about this stuff, because I'm like, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I'm like, I don't want to give out information like that where it's just like it's not contextual to what type of individual. But yeah, go ahead.
No, 100%. I mean, that's exactly the point. Is what he said the other day. We've got a doctor we work with here, and he said the problem is these biohackers are going in and saying like, you could take this and it's good, like they're well-intentioned. But the thing is that a lot of Americans are on like some form of medication or other.
100%.
And it could cause a lot of issues for people who they don't know. Like even like stuff like grapefruit just cancels out. Like it doesn't do much, but it just cancels out. Or it can make certain medications stronger, So it's like, you don't know how simple something could be. So it's like some certain medicines are like avoid taking citrus, or whatever. So, let's go into then you said there's doctors.
Real quick on that, I want to add to that. Because to your point, 1 in 3 Americans are either pre-diabetic or diabetic. 1 in 4 Americans suffer from heart disease, and heart disease is the number 1 killer of people in America. And a lot of people, they'll either be like on a Lipitor or statin for that. And that has all types of complications and things that you cannot take with it, or you need to be mindful of what you're taking with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. Like if with those type of numbers, which we'll talk more about in the blood work and why it's important to look at not the normal range but the optimal range. But
well, actually go into it, because that was my question. Is like you talk about the blood work a lot. Can you explain what that means? Like blood work, like what exactly do you guys do with the blood work?
Yeah, I love blood work, bro. It gives us a snapshot in time of what's going on with your body, and when we do blood work, we look at least 79 different biomarkers in your body. So that's going to be things like your lipids, which is like your cholesterol, a lipoprotein A and B, your hormones like testosterone, free testosterone, which I'll go into a little bit more in a second what that means, sex hormone, globulin, vitamins and minerals, your blood sugar, all these things, so that we can understand exactly what's going on in your body and how that's going to customize your nutrition. So let me give you an example. So if you had high levels of cholesterol, okay, say like your LDL was high, that's the one, the quote unquote bad cholesterol, the one that causes arteriosclerosis, so like plaque buildup in the arteries. A lot of men, they do what diet? Keto, right? Keto is high in saturated fats. You're typically not getting a lot of fiber. And a lot of times people don't do keto, the execution of it correctly. So they'll do keto Monday through Friday, and then they'll go through the week and have their drinks and their cake. So they want to eat they want to, have their fun and eat it too, right? Well, what that does is that's actually going to drive up your cholesterol more, making it dangerous to do that diet. So we get guys to us all the time because the number 1 killer in men in America is heart disease, who have high levels of cholesterol. They've done ketogenic diets, and that's the reason partially why their cholesterol is high as it is. So high saturated fats, low fiber. Those are the two things you actually need to do in reverse in order to lower your cholesterol. You need to lower saturated fats, increase fiber because fiber binds to cholesterol, and that will help to lower those levels, which decreases your risk. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when we look at your blood work and we see that, we're like, okay, cool. This is what we need to do for your diet. We're going to make sure the saturated fats is no more than roughly 10% of your total fat intake, or 20% of your total fat intake, because you still need some for testosterone production. We're going to make sure you get at least 25 grams of fiber per day. And then we're also going to supplement with things like maybe like 1,000 milligrams, if you're not on any other medications, 1,000 milligrams of berberine, so 1 gram of berberine per day, no flesh niacin, about 1 gram of that per day, krill oil, and maybe like a red yeast rice, something of that nature. And we quite literally custom formulate supplementation too as well, based upon your blood work and DNA.
Right.
So it gives us exactly what we need to do, and that builds out a custom roadmap and a plan for your health and for your optimization. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what people kind of miss it, because like a lot of times you go to like a coach or nutritionist or blah, 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 and they just be like, all right, cool, what are your goals? Oh, I want to lose weight. I want to get some more muscle mass. I want a body composition change. And I want to get stronger. All right, cool. Follow this plan based upon like, it's not custom. They don't know exactly what you need. Like, we got to really get down to the level. And DNA is even deeper than that. That's like the owner's manual to your body.
Yeah.
Lets us know how your body processes carbs, proteins, fats, how you're going to best respond to certain like exercise, like types like your muscle fibers. What's the best strategy for stress, performance, recovery, all these things. So then we can really customize what you need to do in order to get to the results.
Yeah. And then do you guys do stuff like food sensitivity tests, stuff like that? Or
No, not unless it's something that comes up in the initial consultation call. Then it's something that we do, but not massive. We look at like the big pillars, because not everybody's always sensitive to a lot of things. There's like a few common, food sensitivities.
Gluten and dairy.
Yeah. We actually get to see that in the gluten. We do get to see in the DNA. It's like, so we get to see if
you do that. Wait, what do you do? The methylation?
Yeah,
test?
we do methylation too as well. Yep.
Yeah, that one's cool. So those are like $600 just to get that done if you do it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
But with I feel like without having like the effort to put in of what you're gonna do, I haven't done mine yet. I want to do it. But
Super helpful.
I want to do it because I took a food sensitivity and a gut panel,
Mm-hmm.
and I had high zonulin, which was essentially just the gut barrier that was breaking down, leading to leaky gut, leading to a lot of issues. Like, and it created like I was telling you, I had to do all these like cleanses, and I feel like 10 times better. But I didn't have like official doctor's help. I had some doctors I know that I talked to, and they're really smart. But and they're friends, so it's easier to kind of make sure I'm not doing something wrong. But I kind of just used like ChatGPT, but I gave it a lot of context.
Good.
Like a lot of context. And then I verified everything. And it helped. It worked really well. I was like, give me like 500, like plus 20 minutes at 1 hour. You can take this, like eat, do whatever. And I just told it like, if I have this kind of diet, whatever, avoid this. And I was like, and I had to like go for like 2 weeks to like train it. I was like every day. Now I've done it for like 2 months. It knows me. So it's like, as much as it sucks at context, it'll get better eventually.
Oh, 100%.
It'll eventually get really good, especially if you could give it like just a report a doctor wrote, and it just goes and it like details, cross references, and then make sure that there's no issue, So I'm just like excited for the future of that. I think that'll be cool, but I don't think it works really well as like a therapist or something.
It can actually, if you give it the right prompts. We've learned some ways how to prompt it. Really, it's all how you prompt it.
Well, yeah. So that's interesting. You guys go to like do the mindset stuff. If you could give like mindset advice for people in fitness, biggest problem and biggest solution you've noticed for people, like, what would be your tagline of like health? Like I run into this the most, and this is what we have to tell them.
I don't know if I'll have a specific tagline, but there is like 2 things that come to mind immediately.
Yeah, like those. Yeah, the things that pop up right away.
Yeah, it's usually people compartmentalize success. They think in order to be successful in one area, they have to sacrifice in another. So they're not really exactly clear, or their timeline in which they're judging success by is too shortened. Our program is a year long for a reason. The people keep like 12-week transformations don't really work unless you're like a pro or you're crash dieting. So that's one. And the other is just straight up fear. I think people are afraid of change. And when they're either afraid of change or they're afraid of becoming, they usually either rationalize or capitulate back to what's comfortable. And sometimes it is their environment. Sometimes people's wives are their worst fucking enemy, bro. It's crazy. And it surprises me. Like I'm like, no offense, but you married that? Like, that's supposed to be like your number one fan and your supporter, but you're marrying somebody who like does not want you to change. They want you to stay fat because it makes them feel comfortable. I'm like,
you notice that?
Oh, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, it's wild. And then they have to, it's too late down the road for some people, but I just don't understand how you get to a place in life where you made that your partner when they're actively trying to get you to lose, bro.
Do you have clients that you still like you've worked with, and because of situations like that, you're like, dude, I can't, like, you probably have had conversations where it's like, I can only help you until you like, so much, right? Like, have you just seen it to that extent before? Like, people just had to completely drop out of the program, or do you fire clients? Or
yeah, I fired clients before. It's because, but it is rare. But I have, because if I feel like I'm not getting what I need, I'll refund you too. Because it's not about the money for me. Like it's like if I feel like you're not ready to win, I don't even want that energy around me.
Right.
So like they got to be really all in on themselves. And if I see like they're consistently either not showing up for themselves or consistently making excuses, like I will be patient with you as I can. Because I believe like coaching is I'm a big believer in Christ. So like I feel like, I try to take that same approach. Like I'm going to be patient with you. I'm going to try to help you. I'm going to try to guide you. I'm not really like a teller or like accountability. Like I'm going to lead and I'm going to show you how it's done. But if they're just not making the effort and they can keep making excuses, like it's just not, it's a waste of their time, a waste of my time too as well. Because there's other people I need to go out there and serve. And maybe they'll circle back, because people have. I've had clients come back to me like a year later and be like, yo, bro, you were right. I'm ready to actually win now.
Yeah.
Cool, let's go.
And so, let's talk about, I guess, a little bit about that. I think that's really important to talk about the results. I mean, have you seen like a lot of times people you coach, a lot of people I see who get in shape or change their life, they eventually become coaches themselves. Have you got any of those stories?
No, I mean, a lot of my guys are already making millions of dollars a year. They're not about to switch over industry. So
what do you? Oh, you're saying the executives and stuff.
Yeah, they're already.
That's true.
They're doing good. Yeah, well,
I guess that is kind of like a niche thing, right? That's like the weight loss thing. Like people who go from like 450 pounds to like 185 cut and rip, or like, fit. Those, some of them, they turn into coaches. I see them like, and I'm like, it's just weird because it's like technically the other person never got to that level, right? And they stayed in shape, but them being, I mean, there is a certain level of like grit it takes to go from that heavy to that like in shape.
Yeah.
So I understand that. And maybe it just like people resonate, but they like hire them, it's like, and it's interesting. Like you're hiring that person, but like the other person just stayed in shape. But at the end of the day, I mean, people want to feel comfortable. So
yeah, I think that a lot of it comes to, so this is my experience in a space. People typically want to be coached from people that they want to trade places with to some degree.
Yeah.
So it's not always about like the certifications or the qualifications. It's like how much can you relate to an individual and how much do they look up to you? So I believe like as coaches, you are a leader. That is literally what I put in all my coaches that work for me. Like you have to be a walking representation of what we teach to our clients.
Yeah.
Or else you're just going to see right through your bullshit. So you have to live that.
Tell me a little bit about what you are focused on now, and how's what's your guys' like mission right now?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the process of scaling quite rapidly right now. So it's a delicate balance of sales and making sure that we have also the right pieces in place as far as fulfillment to make sure that there's not a drop in service. And then I'm also in the process of looking for somebody to take over a little bit more of the back end for me. So I'm not so I could just fully step into some of the CEO responsibilities and not manage the day-to-day sometimes. So, yeah, I mean, we're just looking to serve as many people as possible and really make a category of one in this space. I don't think anybody, and I want to make one thing clear too. I was the first one in this space, bro, to start doing blood work and all that kind of stuff. Now you had a lot of copycats years later starting to do all this stuff, but I digress. But, I want us to be the first in this space to really blend human optimization when it comes to mindset, when it comes to your blood work, when it comes to all these different things in order to help people to step into the best version of themselves, because it has to be holistic in order for somebody to win. You can't just look at the strategies, the blood work, the training and all that kind of stuff. You got to really tap into the mind.
So JC, you talked about on some of your reels, the high performers blind spot. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so it comes down to three things. So typically what we find when we're looking at these blood work panels is that high levels of cholesterol, low testosterone, and insulin resistance. So that has a huge cascade on the body where it has them gaining body fat, decreasing energy throughout the day, and then it's going to play a whole host of problems when it comes to like diabetes, heart issues, and potentially long-term heart disease too as well. So those three things need to be fixed, and they're primarily driven by poor nutrition and poor lifestyle and chronic inflammation within inside of the body. So once we address those things with proper nutrition, proper supplementations, and a few small tweaks, it's not as aggressive as people think. It's just being more strategic with it. Then they see huge improvements. Their testosterone levels. We usually see on average about an 82% increase with inside of testosterone levels. That's without hormone replacement therapy. That's just doing things that are intelligent to do if you want to optimize hormone. So that is vitamin D. You usually get that by more sun exposure. It is making sure you get plenty of zinc throughout the day. About 30 milligrams is like zinc picolinate is fantastic. And then the proper amount of fats within inside of your diet, and then getting good sleep and managing stress. Whenever your stress is elevated, so that's that cortisol level, that decreases testosterone when it's prolonged. So like that's just being, weeks, months at a time. So when we get that in order, you see a huge lift inside of your testosterone levels. Of course, there's other things you can take too as well to help aid in that, like Tongkat Ali. For some people, D-aspartic acid, 3.2 grams per day is effective. It's been shown in some studies to increase about 42%. So those things will help with that. And then insulin resistance is basically like your body just doesn't know what to do with the food that you're eating. It just goes right to fat storage. And then also you're just super fucking tired throughout the day because your body can't process it. Mm-hmm. So decreasing body fat, taking some supplementation like berberine and chromic picolinate, that's going to help to stabilize your body's blood sugar.
Yeah.
And then one key thing that people need to always remember, post-meal walks for about 15 to 20 minutes is just as effective as metformin when it comes to stabilizing blood sugar during that window.
So yeah, so you you said like 8 to 10,000 steps a day.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying that essentially, instead of just taking this medicine that people are prescribed, they should just go for a walk, right?
Yes. Now, like metformin stabilizes it throughout the day, but just during that window, yeah, for sure. Like just go for a walk. And if you do that consistently over time, you will have lower levels of blood sugar, and you will not have to take medications like that potentially.
Let's talk about the workout plan, man. I want to know about the workout plan. So tell me a little bit about your favorite workouts. How do you do splits or training? And also when you're doing this online, do you like put them on Zoom, or how does that work? Like,
Yeah. So for clients, we do the biomechanics assessment first. So that's what they do that during their onboarding, where it looks like our strength and conditioning coach looks like their mobility, flexibility, injury history. And then we have a custom app where all the workouts are housed. So it lets them know sets, reps, rest periods. And then for any exercise that they do not know how to do, the team has shot full video tutorials breaking down exactly what we're looking for as far as exercise execution and technique. So literally there is no guesswork. There is no uncertainty. They don't have to do every single step of the way. As far as like splits though, it ultimately here's context. It just depends on the person. It's an unsexy answer, but it depends. But if we're talking about like for me, yeah, I have a specific routine I want to follow. I follow.
Well, when it comes to training them though, are they like self-training with the coach assisting them like virtually, or do they submit videos, or how does it work? Like when you're looking at the physical training, or are you really more focused on like, I don't know, like how does that work with you guys? Like I've never really done the online training thing, and I'm kind of curious about it too. Like I don't really know too much about it.
So here's what I would specify. If somebody was like a power lifter or something like that, like stuff I've done before in the past, and they like really want to like crush the gym, we might not be the best fit. But like what works really well for our audience, people that we serve, is like the training only stimulates the change. It's the nutritional lifestyle what creates it. So we focus on the things that actually move the needle, not going in the workouts and clanging and banging. Unless you want to be like me, like sure, yeah, cool. You need to go dominate the gym. But for a majority of our guys, is doing a little bit of cardio, doing the correct exercises, staying away from injury, and then getting the hell out of there and eating the right foods and staying away from the wrong foods and taking the right supplements and getting good sleep and then managing your stress. That's it. Yeah. That's the key.
Yeah, like it actually is simple, but then it's people like people are not simple. So
well, yeah, lifestyles can complicate it, and there's just so much information online. You can go one reel and they're saying one thing, and then the another one's saying the exact opposite. So what we do is we take out all of that because we look at your blood work and your DNA, and we understand your body and what you need to be doing. Yeah. So it takes out all the guesswork and gives you certainty, like the plan is going to work for you.
Yeah, yeah. Did you grow up here?
No, I grew up in Michigan.
And then you moved here. Do you live here now? Or?
Yeah, I live here now. I lived in Los Angeles before for about 7 years. Then I moved here December of 2021.
Okay. And how do you feel about the state of, I think Arizona people are pretty fit.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I think Arizona is pretty fit in general.
Yeah.
It's probably because everybody's wearing like short sleeve, short whatever all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm from, grew up in Seattle most of my life, like greater Seattle.
Nice.
And I don't think they're like, they say they're so healthy, but I don't see it. So I think the people who are healthy stay in and then just go on the trails, come back like running, like we have a lot of ultra marathon runner type people.
Nice.
But then the average person, because I think there's no sun like out, the average person is so like, I think they're just kind of depressed, right? They have like vitamin D deficiency, and everybody has vitamin D deficiency there, and they get really depressed. And they have like a lot of just like obesity and stuff, I notice. Maybe like city lifestyle, sitting in traffic. What do you think people who are like in big cities should be doing? Like, how do you think that managing stress and managing life in a big city, because a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people watching this who will be watching this right now will say, like, yeah, I do live in a big city. Like, how do you manage living in a city and still being like as healthy as possible? Like, what's your advice for them?
Yeah. I think on like there's like a few different ways my mind is processing this problem. From a mental standpoint, I think if I were to live in a big city, I would have a dedicated quiet time per day that is on my schedule that I would treat as a priority. Somewhere where I can go alone and it could be absolutely quiet and silent, and therefore I would be able to clear my mind and actually focus on what I need to be intentional on. I think that would absolutely be a must in a city with millions of people, tons of distractions, tons of noise. I think that would be really important. Filter water, 1,000%. I'm just not sure about the water quality in some of those big cities, to make sure that you're giving your body the proper hydration that it needs and not filling it with toxins and things that are going to hurt you in the long run. And then as far as like nutrition and stuff like that, it's actually super easy to eat clean in those cities because they typically have healthy options or healthy
foods.
Yeah, and that's just it's so easy. I think when people say like they have a hard time eating like healthy, I think that's just an excuse nowadays. Even at like steakhouses, bro, it's so fucking easy because everything's served a la carte. Yeah, I think that would be like some of the main things of which I would focus on. Is a dedicated quiet time, making sure I have filtered water, like a really good water filtration system. And then like the eating and everything like that, which has just come super easy and naturally in cities like that.
So what's your diet look like?
Depends on which phase, like when I'm cutting or bulking or what.
Let's just say currently, just favorite food staples.
Yeah, I'm a big steak and salmon guy. Steak is very bioavailable in its protein sources. Also,
you do farm raised salmon? You don't do farm raised salmon, do you?
No. I have a private chef who prepares all my stuff, so I just tell him like my macros and he just makes it. But he gets the highest quality stuff. I'm a big salmon and steak guy. Steak has a lot of micronutrients too as well, so I eat that. Carbohydrates is usually, especially right now, is either like a quinoa or like some type of fibrous carbohydrate. Yeah. And then tons of vegetables. And I'll have like either like protein pancakes or like egg whites for like breakfast or something like that. And then, of course, protein shakes.
What's your opinion on, we had King Keto on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, Brandon, yeah.
Yeah, and so what's your opinion on that ketogenic lifestyle and tracking? He said if you're not tracking, you're slacking. So how do you feel about that? And what's your opinion on keto and like different diets?
Yeah, Brandon, keto is 100% bullshit. No, I'm just joking. No, keto, it works for him, right? So like I think that's the most important thing is something you can adhere to that's easy for you to follow. It seems like that works fantastic for him. He's in great shape. He's been in great shape for as long as I've known of him. So, I mean, it works fantastic. I think when it becomes problematic for people if they don't 100% follow keto, and that's when they're going to have bad levels of cholesterol because like when you do keto, you got to do keto. Yeah. You cannot go out and have drinks and eat carbohydrates or
you can do it as somewhat. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's all in on that, super consistent. And of course, I believe you do have to have some form of tracking. You don't have to like take a scale to a restaurant like he does. Like that's kind of, you know, psychopathic in some ways. I can appreciate the commitment.
He would actually think that's a compliment. I feel like
I know. Yeah.
he said it's psychopathic.
As he should. That's his standard. Right. So I can appreciate that. I just, I think there's a more calculated way to do it. So like my craziness way of doing it is if I know I'm going out to eat that day to like a restaurant, I just reverse engineer the math from there. So I just think about it ahead of time. I don't go in there and kind of, so I'm actually out thinking him in that way there.
I think he's like 40. I think he's 41 too.
He's like 82, I think, is what his age is. No, he's 42. Yeah, he's 42.
Yeah, 42. I think it was 41 when I talked.
But let me get this game real quick. So if you're going out to a restaurant, it's really important you actually do reverse engineer the math. So if you know you're going somewhere and it's going to be heavy in fat, heavy in carbs, you actually should budget that in there. And then for the rest of your meals, keep them lower in carbs, lower in fats to make up for that, and higher in protein.
Yeah.
So like if you're going to like say like get pizza or something like that with, you know, family or something that evening, pizza is just carbohydrates and fats. So I would say, okay, cool. If I'm gonna have 5 slices of pizza, I'm gonna say that each slice is roughly 10 grams of fat. So that's 50 grams of fat that I need to budget for that meal. It's like budgeting. Okay, then each slice is gonna be like, we'll say 30 grams of carbohydrates. So that's 150 grams of carbs. So 150 carb, 50 fat. For the rest of the day, then I'm going to, if I'm supposed to have 200 grams of carbs that day, I'm just gonna have 50 grams of carbs between my breakfast and my lunch. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you just back in the math. So that's the way I do it, as opposed to like going there and trying to wait. I just reverse engineer the math, and then so I can just live my life and just do it.
Yeah, and then also too, still just if you're working out, just getting nutrient dense foods
For sure.
Like I just feel like it makes such a difference for me. I could tell I'm kind of low on like blood sugar or whatever because like I've been working out and I could always tell when I'm like, oh dude, something, I need to like get something. But I've also been kind of like staying in this kind of ketogenic kind of cleansing state for the last like month still actually just cleansing. And do you guys talk about cleanses at all? Or you guys have people do any cleanses ever? Or? Yeah,
potentially if we suspect that there is some either microbiome issues, some gut health inflammation, or some people have like bacterial infections where it can be applicable. But so everything's a tool in the toolbox. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm big on parasite cleanses. I think you should do them like at least once to twice a year. I think people pick them up everywhere and they don't know it. You mentioned blood work, and then you also mentioned normal versus optimal blood work. What does that mean?
Yeah, so when you go to your doctor and get your labs done, they compare you against the average American. Well, 75% of America is either overweight or obese. 1 in 3 Americans are either pre-diabetic or diabetic. And every single year, roughly 1 million people pass away from heart disease. So they're comparing you against a sick and dying population. What we do is compare you against the optimal range. So optimal for things that are going to have a huge impact on your energy, your drive, your performance, your recovery. And that way you can start to see the results that you want when it comes to your body composition. So losing body fat, gaining muscle, and having greater energy and clarity throughout the day.
That is interesting because I always forget that when they say based on a 2,000 calorie diet, based on a whatever, I have to be like, well, based on an athletic 30-year-old male that, works out like every day. Same would be for you, like based on your, and at your size. Like, so you kind of have to really be more customized. And I think maybe do you think that fitness has been like is like still kind of like antiquated the way people think about it? Like the average person just thinks about it like 1965, like you have to lift weights and eat healthy. And it's like, we're not in 1975 anymore or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I believe I think when it was first kind of given to people, I think it was given in a way where it was easy to understand and process.
Yeah.
But now with so much emerging science and understanding of how the human body works, it's time that we get a software update.
Yeah, because it's like people are breaking like records every year for Olympics and stuff. It's got to be probably because they're just doing like, I'm like back in 1975, they wouldn't be like, oh, you're low on X, Y, and Z specific, hormone. And you can do this. For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I used to think smoking was good for you too at one point.
Yeah. And also less people smoking, drinking. We're actually in the lowest drinking and smoking generation, the younger ones.
Yeah.
And they're all like doing entrepreneur stuff. So that's good. I'm just scared for them in terms of like, they didn't have like life without phones.
Mm-hmm.
So their brains are going to be a little weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so as someone who has been coaching people, helping people for over 20 years, working in fitness, been on Fitness Magazine, I mean, literally being in a optimal level, can you give us your best advice for people?
The number one thing I would say is decide who you want to become and then become them ruthlessly. So once you create that person in your mind's eye of exactly who you want to be, the things of which you want to do, and the things you want to accomplish, then you need to take audit of everything, your environment, the people that you're around, the circumstances that you find yourself in, and extremely being ruthless and cutting out things that don't serve that. It's as easy as that. Just that a lot of people, I think it just requires a lot of courage, because you oftentimes when you do that, you're going to be alone. But that's the price you got to pay in order to live a life of greatness.
All right. So JC, if you could let the audience know where they can find you and how they can reach out if they're interested.
Yeah. So easiest place to find me is on Instagram at Coach JC White. And then website is going to be t3bodytraining.com.
Okay. So with that being said, kicking ass, taking names with JC White from T3 Body. Thank you guys.